Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Welcome to the Issues of Life broadcast with your host, Evelyn Reid. This show will address health, religious, and political issues that our communities face today. Let's go live into the studio with your host, Evelyn Reid, for the Issues of Life broadcast, right here on the Glory 107.9 FM.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to all listeners out there. My name is Jonathan McCullum, and I'm sitting in today for Evelyn Reid and Dr. Don Reid. And today also joining me is the co-captain of the ship, Reverend Warren Hamilton. How are you today, Reverend?
I'm fine. How about you?
And doing exceptionally well.
Praise the Lord.
I hope everybody's out today. If you're enjoying this very nice weather, I believe it's 73 degrees outside, which means that we're getting a little bit closer to spring. What do you think?
Well, I'm a cold weather man myself.
Well, I tell you what, you took the words right out of my mouth. I appreciate the coolness as well. I guess I got the alert when I saw my car was parked under the carport and had green stuff on the car. So that green stuff means that it's getting a little bit closer to spring. And those of you who have allergies, I said, look, get ready to deal with your allergies right now. Hey, look, we have an interesting couple of comments, couple of things we got to discuss this afternoon, and we want in advance, I'd like to go ahead and give you the number that you can call. We'd invite you to the program, and you are so welcome. So wherever you are, we want to give you the opportunity to come on in and state your case and state your claim. The number is 478-250-1444. Again, the number is 478-250-1444. And you're welcome to be a part of the program at any time. We're listening out for you. We have two topics in which we're going to discuss. And one of them, of course, unfortunately, it comes with a little bit of melancholy and a little bit of sadness. We were informed today, or we heard this morning early, that the Reverend Jesse Jackson passed at some point this morning. And we're going to take a little bit of time and just talk about the legacy of Reverend Jackson and some other comments of those who have at least some contributions and aware of some of the things that he's done in his life right now. We're going to talk about that. The second part of the show today, we're going to discuss the relevancy of whether or not we're going to talk about whether or not an ID, an identification card, is required to vote. We're going to talk about this topic as it is one of the major voting issues that's going on in Congress today. We're going to discuss whether or not an ID card should be required and some of the ins and outs about that conversation. So we look forward to that in part 2 of the program today. So with that being said, again, just to give you just a little bit of information in the event that you didn't know, we heard that, again, Reverend Jackson passed this morning, Reverend Jesse Jackson. He was born in 1941, and he is known for his participation in the civil rights movement. As a result of his action, he started and was responsible for the Rainbow Push, the Rainbow Coalition, which is comprised of a heterogeneous mixed group of people, which is why it's called the Rainbow. We know that something very interesting about him. He knows that he went and became a part of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. earlier in his life, and eventually he became more and more, a little bit more closer, and he was with Dr. Martin Luther King when he was assassinated. Further, we know that he twice ran for the presidency of the United States, and he lost in the primary to two other Democratic candidates. Of course, one I believe was Mondale, and I'm not sure the other one right now. It eludes me right now. That's in that part of my memory that's fading a little bit there, preacher. And with that being said, let's spend a little bit of time talking about Reverend Jesse Jackson. Reverend, what did you know? We're kind of separated by maybe a single generation or something like that. So those of us, I'm sure there are opinions and thoughts from different generations, but some of the others, there are common denominators of thoughts that we have. So what do you know, and what do you think about the life and the legacy of Jesse Jackson?
Before we get started, let's just have a moment of silence. What I think. That's a different breed. Reverend Jesse Jackson and those young men and women, and those who came before us dealing with the problem in the United States of segregation, Jim Crow, everything negative, had to be special people. People who loved people who needed, people we needed, and they came when we called. I don't know about anyone else, but they had to be special. They were, from my understanding, subject to a lot of negative stuff. But the whole thing was stay cool. Don't. It was a way to do what needed to be done, and that had to be done through peace and love. He's my hero. First of all, he's a man of God. He was someone who took his time to help others, to show the world what's right and how to treat each other. We still coming short. We still coming short of what, first of all, God wants us to do. And number two, what Jesse and Martin Luther King and those who came before us wanted. It's better. It's somewhat, it's not somewhat, it's a lot better. But we still got a long way to go. And Jesse's gone, who's going to pick up the baton? That's the question I want to hear somebody say. Call in and tell us who you think could fill the shoes of Jesse Jackson.
Well, I'll tell you what. Well, we appreciate that introduction from a perspective that you have. Can you, in your mind, what do you think is his either number one, number two legacy? Give you a chance to think about that for a minute. What do you think is the legacy that is going to stand about Jesse Jackson? Is it that he was a preacher? Is it that he was a civil rights leader? Is it something that he did that contributed to something that he, what did he do for the wholeness or the fullness of the United States of America, of certain cultures? What did he do? What is his legacy? The legacy that we want to, that will be passed on to generations about Reverend Jackson. What do you think, in your estimation?
His legacy to me is that he's shown that he loved the United States. He showed the world how to treat people, how to realize and understand that, our human rights is at stake. Sometimes you say, well, we'll do it this way, regardless of what somebody say. Well, if it ain't right, it's going to come back home. You might be the one to think that you're going to get away with it, but it'll fall back on you too. Most of the time, when they went to different cities and states, they were treated terrible. Okay. One of the things that I truly found out was when I went to the Muhammad Ali Museum in Louisville, Kentucky. I was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. Matter of fact, on the same street Muhammad Ali grew up on. But I never knew some of the things he was subject to. Jail, Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King, came to the church, they united. We had some issues about forced busing and all of these other things. And I just said that sometimes we don't get a lot of support. You know, it'll come back to you. You know, you're a troublemaker. You this, you that.
Okay.
But somebody got to make trouble to make things right.
So what? So when
his legacy, which you asked me, was to change, to make change.
Okay.
And segregation.
Okay. Change and segregation. So we'd say to find that consistency with an education, along with Brown versus the Board of Education, which outlawed, which allowed for desegregation, desegregated the schools and systems, and everybody was able to come together. So we're celebrating Black History Month. So it's kind of interesting that he passes in the month where we celebrate certain things about Black history. And one of those, of course, is the civil rights. During the civil rights, especially coming up through the 60s, when we passed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, kind of interesting when that was done. As a result of his actions, it is now 2026. Do you believe that? How would you state on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm going to give you a number that's going to get you in trouble. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think we are? 10 being the relationships are just the absolute best, and 1 meaning we haven't grown anywhere. So that's a large range. As a result of his actions and other actions in terms of civil rights, and including him, of course, since we're discussing him, where do you think we are on a scale of 1 to 10? And then why do you think that is?
On a scale from 1 to 10, I would say we're probably at 8. It's being honest. And I would say this too, his legacy. We talked about that earlier. One of the things he left here for us to understand and to the question was about his legacy is his courage. We have to have courage. We can't be, I'm not telling nobody to go out and stir up a storm. I'm saying, well, we have to be courageous. We have to stand for what's right. We have to not let things that's not right influence us to be wrong. Don't be afraid to stand up what is right. And his legacy and some of the other people, if nothing else, would be their courage. Because I don't think we really know and understand some of the things they had to go through. Now, we didn't have to go through because we wasn't there with them, some of us. But those who there was with him know what they went through. The garbage strike in Memphis. All kinds of things. I remember when they came to Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. They came to our church, or Southern Star Baptist Church. Reverend Kirby was the pastor. He told me, you cannot go with Reverend Jackson then. You cannot march. And my mama told him not to let me go because my son gonna fight. You can't, he ain't gonna turn the other cheek. And I'm glad they didn't, because back in those days, I was somewhat of a rebel. I don't believe in turning the other cheek at that time. I didn't know Christ.
I understand.
You know, it's a lot of things. But what I'm saying is, those people had to have courage.
I understand.
That's the legacy they leaving behind. And let these young men and young women have courage. You don't have to pack a gun.
You don't have to.
You don't have to fight. Stand what's right. Don't knuckle under the wrong.
Yeah. But I tell you what, I believe his name is Sean Mincher III. We thank you for your comments. Sean sent some comments in, and he's saying He's grateful for the Rainbow Push Coalition, and he believes that that is the centerpiece of Jackson's life work. And he speaks to the probably the economic empowerment. So, Sean agrees with you, and with that being said, as a result of as a result of what was attempted, the attempts from economic justice and voting rights and those things that we do have today, do you think that as a culture that Black people are taking advantage of all this goodness that was given to them, not only by Jesse Jackson, but by a plethora of people that have come through to try to make lives better for the culture that you and I are, that you and I right now. So are we taking advantage of it? And if so, is it somebody else's fault or whose fault is it? What do you think?
I think it's our fault.
I think it's our fault.
And are we taking advantage of this? Probably not. Some are, some are not. It's been shown when we go out and vote, we achieve what we do. What the outcomes speak for itself. But we sometimes don't want to. I ain't going out there. It's cold. I'm not going to do this. We can come up with every excuse, and I think part of that is they don't know how serious it is. I mean, they're not used to doing it, and then don't want to take the time or the effort to do it, especially if the conditions are not right. It's got to be a sunny day.
Right. So more than voting, do you think an educated voter or asking people to educate themselves on what they're voting for is better for the Rainbow Push from that concept? Or is it okay just to vote for either a certain side or a certain group because it is a perception of a vote that matters? So what do you think?
I think they need to educate themselves, know who they're voting for, what his campaign slogan is, and, have some. I don't want you to walk in that blindfolded.
Correct. I agree with you.
See, if you go in that blindfolded, you'll punch anything.
That's correct.
You need to be precise. You need to say, well, this is what he said. He's a man of God. I like that. You got to have a reason, objective. Don't just go in the booth and pull some levers. I don't believe in that.
Yeah, and I think that flows well into our discussion. Being accountable for how we live as a result of what people have done for the culture, and then number two, returning that by self-education, and then educating ourselves, especially when we're voting and whatever our actions are. So I agree with you. I think that's so very critical. I take note also, we look at not only the economic justice, the voting rights, but also where do you think we are in terms of our economic, I don't want to call it economic justice. I'll call it, I'll just say right now, do you believe that people are also people of the culture that you and I and cultures across the world, because a push this should impact everybody, the whole country? Do you believe that we are taking advantage of things that are made available to us and using that to our advantage, or do you think we need a little bit of help? In other words, and is our education system working for us, working for just the citizens, not just Black people, but working for everybody? Is it working?
No.
Interesting. No, look, that was an emphatic no. So that's got some oomph behind it. What do you think?
Well, first of all, our system, education system, is actually set up for us to fail.
Interesting.
This is my perception. You can go to certain schools, depending on what part of town, how many Blacks versus white, and you can see it's so great a distance between the academic level, not only academically, but the school conditions and certain things. It's not. It should be across the board the same, but it's not. I just make it simple.
Okay.
my kids went to a school,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time, it was a lot of good teachers, teachers who wanted to teach these kids, teachers who would call you your house and tell you about your child. Nowadays, they just pass everybody, no matter what you done. I was told every time that child come to the school, they are allocated so much money.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what they do or how bad they are that day, you call their parents, the parents will tell you, you got them for 8 hours. I got them for 20, the rest of the time, 12, whatever I left.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that sounds like what we're doing. We could probably do better in parental home association, home kids being associated with the things that are good and bad, studying practices, and the things that can help them to become better at home. That if home worked better with the education system and the parents were involved in the system, you think that would be a pretty good linchpin to include however we decide on how to do discipline. What do you think?
I do. Let me give you an example. I mean,
All right, give me an example.
reason why I said what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a kid capable of doing schoolwork, really smart, plays football, got a scholarship to Georgia. You think they're going to let him fail? No. They're going to give him a special treatment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm a living testimony. All I had to do was, I'm a football player. All I had to do was show up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had to go to class, but I ain't had to write my name on nothing.
Mm. Wow.
I think it should be a standard, regardless of what you do or how good you are in a sport. Every child is important, not just the football player.
I agree.
Every child, black, white, whatever, every child ought to have the same opportunity and expect the same thing out of each.
Good. But look, if you want to be a part of this conversation, we're talking about just the legacy of Reverend Jesse Jackson, and we're just talking about a few ancillary subjects that are aligned with some of the things he did, and we're kind of tying that into Black History Month. If you'd like to participate with us, please feel free to give us a call at 478-250-1444. Again, it's 478-250-1444. And you're right. So I'm making the assumption, and this is my fundamental belief too. I believe that where there's a failing school, I actually believe that the money should go with the kid to a school that's going to ensure that the kid gets a vibrant education, no matter who the kid is. What do you think about that point?
I agree. I definitely agree. Kids are our future.
Mm-hmm.
As I look at the news and the media nowadays, we're locking them up. We're not educating them. I'm not saying it's a school.
Right.
Some of these parents need to be talked to.
Let's do that. Let's do the whole thing. That's correct. Let's get the parents, hold them accountable too, and we want that to happen, and we know it needs to happen. And as we move forward, even from here, parental involvement is so very critical, and we need that. And in such that it helps us, even in education, it helps us to make better decisions. And it helps us to know that we have a play into all things that are going on in life, that wherever the government goes, whatever the decisions we make, that we have a play into it, but you've got to have some actions. You've got to do something too. And that's what we're talking about. And we'll use that as a transition into this question. And we're going to throw this question out to the audience also. And feel free to join in on this conversation. Within the last, I'd say the last couple of years, the question has come back and forth, and the last week or two, it's really hit the forefront. I believe Congress is about to vote on this or has already voted or is a part of a bill, there is a side of Congress that believes that that because that as a result of having a mandate to have an identification card to vote, that it puts a pressure or burden on especially minorities or black people. And in fact, they're saying that it's racist because for whatever the reason, black people can't acquire identification cards, or someone in the race can't acquire identification cards. So they want to. So a certain group has indicated that they're going to vote no across the board because they don't support this belief, that they believe that it's called voter suppression. That if you require an ID card to vote, that it hurts or somehow perils the system. Now, there's the other side that says that ID cards will provide an amount of security in voting, and that if someone provides an identification card, then you know who's voting. So it provides a security to voting. And of course, the continuation of that conversation is an ID card is required to board the plane. You have to have an ID card to drive a car. You have to have an ID card to obtain benefits. So you almost have to have an ID card to do almost everything. But there's this one side that says that it is racist to force or to mandate the need for an ID card for voting. Come on, help me out a little bit. Is it difficult for black people, for minorities to obtain an ID card? Anybody? What can we do about this? What can we do about this? What do we say?
You got anybody? Listen, that's crazy. Well, you know, something wrong with me, so y'all forgive me, please. The Lord dropped me on the way down from heaven here. That's crazy. After all these years, who come up with this idea? It's a reason behind it. Mm-hmm. And if I tell you the reason, I'm guessing. So I'm not going to try to figure out why they're doing it, but I'm going to tell you it's crazy. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got enough badges and licenses and stuff now. Mm-hmm. It didn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Is it a deploy to slow, deter it, or what? Somebody tell me. I don't understand it. Right. Is this what we paying our Congress and senators about? Sitting around and talking about voting ID cards? Well, we got computers and we already got driving license.
Yeah.
You can't get on an airplane now. You can't do this, you can't do that.
Right.
What's the purpose? You're not making things easier.
Right, I agree.
I'm not with it.
Yeah, no, I'd say that, we've got so many, have so many more difficult problems that we're trying to achieve. It seems to me that one of the basic fundamental rights that we have, that we really treasure, is the right to vote. And as a matter of fact, we first received that right to vote, especially black people who were initially here, who were slaves. The 15th Amendment provided that right to vote, of course, first to men who were slaves, and then later on, I believe it was the 18th Amendment to women. But that right to vote is a very, very, very special right. And therefore, we want to ensure, it seems to me, that we have the right people, right person voting at the right time in the right place, and that we want to ensure that we keep or can have some integrity in our voting system. So it seems to me, I would like to hear from anybody that's in the listening audience right now. If you don't have an ID card or can't get an ID card, would you feel free to give us a call and probably give us a reason why this is happening? And because I happen to believe that if you want an ID card, you can get one. Even when you go to the Driver License Bureau, if you acquire a driver license, they will also, if you desire, they'll also, in Georgia, you can also get just an identification card.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out why it's so difficult, or why any congressional representatives would argue that it is racist to mandate the need for an ID card for anybody.
Make it easier, not harder.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And the intent is not to burden anyone, but I believe that if you want to drive, you're going to have to deal with the burden of studying a little bit and passing a test, then passing a written test, then having then a driver's test. I believe once again that if you want to board an airplane, you've got to have some form of government ID to board a plane. I believe that if you want to even enter certain places, that somebody wants to see an identification card. If you want to have some, not saying that, I'm not even saying people want alcohol, but now if you want to drink alcohol, someone wants to know that you're of age, so you've got to require that whatever your heart's desire is with regard to that, but you've got to have an ID card. So I don't know. I think this argument is moot. I believe that having an ID card is one of the simplest things. And here's another point. I contend that it is an absolute insult. What do you think? It is an absolute insult to say that a black person or a minority or anyone perhaps does not have the intellect or the know-how to figure out how to acquire some form of an ID card. Do you think is that too hard? Am I too far out? Is that too difficult?
No. No, there's nothing difficult about this. We got to understand. I don't know who's behind it, or why it needs to be done, but there's so many other ways to do this without singling out anyone special. We got to vote though. Ain't no difference. It came too hard. The price was too high. We have to vote, people. I don't know about the reason behind this, why so much effort, and people coming up with all kinds of ways to deter us from voting, but don't let them win. You cannot not vote. You have to. Please. If you don't use it, you'll lose it.
You'll lose it. And that's what we're doing. I think we're stating, even from our vantage point, if you don't mind, I'll say, I do. I want everybody to vote, but I want you to be an educated and an informed voter. So I want those of you who are preparing to vote, those of you who are 18, I want you to think about this right to vote. It's so very critical, but I want you to be an educated voter. I want you to do your homework and make the appropriate determinations. That I want you to make sure go out and get your identification card so that you can be prepared that when it's time to vote, that you can just flash your ID card. It's a real simple process, not very difficult. Anybody can do it if you. So we want you to do that, and I don't think there's any issue, and I think that we want to ensure that the right people are voting. We don't want people. If you're illegal, we don't want you voting. If you're not legal, we do not want you voting in our system of government, under our system of governance, and we want everybody right now, while you have the time. As a matter of fact, voting, the primaries are in May of this year, and the national election is in November, and we have a lot going on. And by the way, those of you who didn't know, I am running for the Georgia U.S. Senate seat, and I want you to get your ID cards, especially for me, if you don't mind. So I just thought I'd throw that plug in right there. But most importantly, someone worked really hard to ensure that you have the rights that you have. And we want to ensure that everybody appropriately uses that right and uses that right appropriately. It's like a weapon. I don't mind people owning weapons, and I think it's a good thing, and that's a right, and I own mine. But I'm glad when you learn to use the weapon correctly and know the dangers and the perils of misusing that weapon. So it's the same thing with a vote. A vote is a special right. And with that right, you get to make a determination in our constitutional republic, which means that we have representatives that make determinations for us after we cast our votes. And we want to make sure that we have those opportunities to cast our vote. So those of you out there, if you don't have an ID card, I think that this is a great time right now to find a way to get an ID card. Again, go to your local DMV, I believe, and you can receive an identification card, and you can then use your right to vote in the near future.
Please, people, came at a high cost. I really want you to understand it came with a high cost. If you don't use it, it's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to lose it. If you don't use it, they're going to take it. I don't believe that we should take this lightly. It's so important because so many people paid to vote.
Mm-hmm.
It's serious. We have to be careful. And it's not only voting. If they take one thing, they're coming back for another. They'll never be satisfied unless they put you back where you were. We can't let that happen.
The best thing, and I tell you what, one of the best things that we can do right now is just share the information with others and know our surroundings and know what's going on. I would say open a book, read a little bit more about the country, see how the system runs, and then make your own determinations based on. I personally have a biblical worldview, how I see things. I believe this nation was set aside as a nation that has its freedoms, and understanding that our freedoms come from God, and that as a result that we have the opportunity to do whatever we want to do as far as our hearts, our minds, our desires, our will take us. And as indicated, having those rights is so very important. But you got to do something. You got to educate yourself. You got to figure out how things work. And then, of course, when it's time, I mean, I'm saying vote in both. Vote in the primaries and vote in the national election. Choose your leaders and choose them with some wisdom is what I think, which is the end state of voting. And I'd be careful about listening to people who would say things that you would find to be amazing about simple things like an ID card. We're better than that. We're smarter than that. If anybody has any other comments, feel free to join us at 478-250-1444. If anybody believes that the mandating the need to use an ID card to vote is either irrational or is in fact racist or anything else, feel free to give us a call and state your case. I think we made a decision that it seems like it's kind of off when there are multiple ways and multiple opportunities to acquire an ID right now, since we use an ID card for almost anything right now. What do you think, Reverend?
Yeah, like the general said, make sure you educate yourself. You don't want to just go in and pull levers. You need to know who you're voting for, what he stands, where he stands. And to me, I always try to figure out, is he a man of God? What is his worth? What did he get rich hooking and crooking? Is he a contractor? Is he an insurance agent? I don't know. It's certain things you can educate yourself on to tell you who to vote for. Right. And if you don't know, that's what the education is all about. Research it.
Right, research.
One of the biggest problems we have nowadays, and I've talked to some people, man, I just went in and I vote for so and so and so, so I know him. Well, what about the other candidates?
That's right.
He can't do much if you don't put some people with him. Educate yourself. It's time for a change. Let's do it right. Because when you do things right, will follow you.
I agree with that, and you can't blame anybody else. Once you've if you're continuing, I would say you look at your surroundings. If your surroundings look the same and have been the same for years and years and years and years, I would look at how I'm voting. Maybe the people I'm selecting are not really helping me, or maybe they are helping me. If you're satisfied with where you are, look at your seat, look at your leadership, look at the direction of the country, and especially those of you who are in the like me who believe from a biblical worldview that godliness plays a major piece in the fabric of the United States of America. And say, well, look, who's actually living that, or do we are we in a nation now where it's okay, for an example, for biological men to play in biological female sports. And I would hope that we're not, but those are the things that we're voting on, and they're very critical because we get to make a determination about how we live. But the most important thing that we want to underscore is that acquiring an ID card. We will conclude with this: to me and to Reverend Hamilton, is not an impediment to voting. That right now, if you want an ID card, you can get one. And I would suggest to everybody who's listening today, if you can't acquire an ID card, talk to somebody, tell somebody. But I believe that all of us have access to acquire some form of an ID card so that when it's time to vote, we don't try to do this in the last minute, but we do it. We already possess it and we already have it, and we're able to exercise our right to vote. And I also thank Sean for coming in today and speaking with us as we get ready to wrap up this show. I'm Reverend Hamilton. I'm going to give you some parting comments on both Reverend Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson, who departed us this morning. Uh, uh, and you can also do the same thing for voting rights. I know that some people about Jesse Jackson, there are some things we always say we want to, when someone passes, we kind of lighten up a little bit. There are some things out there that we may have some challenges with, but we're going to we will be able to discuss those, and I can understand everybody, and I see your thoughts also. Brenda Williams, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I truly agree with you. So I'll give you some parting comments if you'd like to have some right now, Reverend.
Stand strong in the Lord. Stand strong. If you don't stand strong, you'll fall for anything. Mm-hmm. You have a good evening. God bless you.
Amen. That's good, strong comments toward the end. Look here. I believe that in the United States of America, you can do whatever you want to do if you want to do it. I believe that the work that in times past, going as far back to Frederick Douglass and even his sons who served in the Union military from the 54th Massachusetts Detachment, a brave group of individuals who fought in the Civil War, as we indicated before in this show, on the East Coast of South Carolina and Georgia, and how they fought valiantly in the Civil War, on down through all those others who have given, who leveled the path for you. So exercise your right to vote by first being prepared to vote. And I want to encourage you right now, do your homework. Make sure you know everything about the person for whom which you are deciding to vote, and then look at the others who are running also to see where there is parity and to ensure that your beliefs are consistent with theirs. There's no sense in voting for someone whose ideals are inconsistent with yours or your fundamental and core beliefs. And with regard to the family of Reverend Jesse,
joining the Issues of Life broadcast with your host, Evelyn Reid.
Look forward to seeing
Be
you.
sure to tune in every Tuesday from 4:15 to 4:45 p.m. as she addresses the health, religious, and political issues that our communities face daily, right here on the Glory 107.9 FM, 980 AM, WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.